Hey guys, Solomon here. I hope you are having a great day. In today's video, I'm going to be responding to the following comment from my guy, David. And yeah, he brings up a great point, right? We've all been there as Hippo players. A lot of you have commented surrounding this area. I mean, what's going on? What's going on, right? We're playing the Hippo. All of a sudden, our opponent's bishops come in. They're checking our king, attacking our queen, pinning our knights, attacking our knights that are either pinned to our king or our queen. What do we do in that kind of situation? My message, everything's going to be okay. Now, some of you, and for good reason, might be wondering why would, okay, who cares, right? Like, what do I do in the position? Let's take the approach. Everything's going to be okay, right? You're going to keep playing your regular Hippo structure much of the time. You're just going to keep playing your regular Hippo. You're going to play your Hippo, and yeah, you're good, right? You're going to play your Hippo. You're not going to freak out and play different moves. Usually if you put the pieces in the spots that they were going to go anyways, you're going to be fine. Now we'll take a look at that. But before that, Hippo Day, World Hippo Day wasn't that long ago. Okay, and because of that, I'm giving out a 30% off discount code for any of you who are interested in investing in the course and trying to bring your Hippo Defense game to the next level. Over 6-hour course, I put a ton of work into this, and I'm not just selling something that I don't believe in. The Hippo Defense, I played it exclusively as white and black, and it helped me hit the Candidate Master and National Master titles. Okay, so anyone in the comment section saying that the Hippo's not good, I disagree. I disagree. I really do. Okay. It brought me in a National Master. It helped me beat an International Master over 2,500. I've seen GMs lose to it, including Magnus Carlsen, by the way. It's better than most people think. Okay. But all you got to do to get that 30% off, go to the link. I'll have one in the pinned comment or in the description. From there, you can click on that link and then plug in the discount code World Hippo Day, and you will get 30% off of that Hippo course. Only good until the end of the 20th. Okay. So make sure you get on it if you're interested. Now, hopefully you guys have seen this position before. I mean, obviously you've seen it. Okay. It's starting position, but let's say white here plays a move like E4. There's a lot of different ways to start out with the Hippo. What I like to do is this 1, 2, 3, prioritize kingside development with the modern defense, fiend kid on my bishop, and D6. Okay. And there's a lot of different transpositional stuff that can happen here, right? I mean, knight F6 could be played, C5 could be played, but obviously I go into this wanting to get a full Hippo, but I start out with the following moves, right? Now, let's say white here plays a move like knight C3, E6, okay? I've learned to really like this move of E6 on move 4, because now if you push this pawn, I can lock it up. If you push this pawn, I probably would think about taking it at this point in the game, right? Because, I mean, this is really far extended and it's a big target for a lot of our pieces, but I could take, right? Or I could push, right? But by having these pawns here, right, I'm always able to match things up and close things up if I need to. But then we see this move bishop G5, and this might make some people go, oh my gosh, should I do the wrong move order? Should I play E6 later? You're fine. You're fine. What do you do here? Well, let's answer the question, right? Where was the knight gonna go? Well, in the Hippo, we don't play knight F6. We don't play F6 or bishop F6 usually. We put our knight on E7. Okay, great. Let's put the knight there, right? Boom, we're good. If they develop a bishop, were we going to play H6 at some point? Yeah, okay, let's play H6. Right? We're kind of just doing what we were going to do anyways. I can't tell you how many times I've had an opponent, pin my knight. I play H6, they run back. Maybe they're thinking that they somehow made, some kind of weakness with H6. I was going to play H6 anyways, so you kind of just gave me tempo for no reason. And if you play bishop H4, we could either play G5 now and start kicking that bishop around, or really anytime we want to. So bishop H4 in this position doesn't, scare me that much either. And if they take the knight, some people are worried about this. We take back with the queen. Guys, it's move 7 and we're already up the bishop pair. I'm cool with it, and I like knights. Knights are my favorite piece in chess. They're unpredictable, they're savvy, they're dangerous, they're really unique. I really do think that they kind of make chess what it is in a lot of ways. But, a bishop pair is pretty good. Okay, now let's just to push the point home, right? Now, first off, we have space now, right? And I don't think of the Hippo as cramped, right? I've played it so much that I've become familiar and comfortable with the positions. But in this case, the queen kind of got easy development with tempo, right? We have a very solid structure. If you ever push, we can take or close down. And if you keep coming after us, Okay, I mean, c6 is playable, but again, do we want to play a hippo? Yeah, okay. Just play what you were going to play anyways. Knight there, right? If they take, we'll take back with the queen so that we can fee and kiddo our bishop. And if a4, we don't want to let a5 happen, right? So what we can do here, play a move like a6. If a5, we have b5 ready to go. And h3 or something. Okay, we'll castle, right? What do we have here? We have a situation where we have two bishops. They have two knights. And none of the files are open. So does white have the advantage here? I'm going to argue no, and so would Stockfish. The reason for that is because white cannot keep this game closed forever. And, you know, a truly closed position is when all of the pawns are locked up. None of the opposing pawns or our pawns have even really met yet. So I wouldn't say anything is locked up. Maybe everything's still on the board, but there's nothing locked up forever or indefinitely, right? What do we do in a situation like this? We have two bishops against two knights, so we actually want to break the position open, right? Let's say, you know, white plays a move like d5, right? Usually in the hippo, we would play a move like e5 and start attacking with f5. And by the way, e5 is very playable. Black has a solid game there, but we do have two bishops, and they have two knights. So we could just break it open. If they take with the d-pawn, okay, we bring our rook over. By the way, if knight takes d5, our bishop just flies in and takes that pawn, and then it's going to fly back. Take the pawn, get the heck out of there. We're up a pawn. And yeah, if you take back the e-pawn, which is the computer recommendation, there's a lot of things that we can do. One of them is just bring our rook over, start to advance a little bit with our queen, get that major piece active, put some pressure on the knight, the pawn, this guy, the pawn on d5, just put some pressure on some stuff, right? And we are threatening, or at least looking at the idea of taking this knight and then, you know, being able to capture on d5 at some point. But, you know, sometimes, guys, a threat isn't always the answer. Sometimes a threat can be stopped. But sometimes just adding more and more and more pressure, it makes it kind of hard for white to play the game, okay? For example, let's say white takes. Okay, we'll take back, right? You took first, you lost the file. You fight for the file again, let's capture back. If you take with the queen, we have pressure on your pawns and pieces. So, okay, thanks for the pawn. We appreciate it. If you take with the knight, right? Queen g5 is a good move. Now, earlier I talked about potential threats of taking the knight. In this case, the reason I say potential is because in this case it doesn't work. Okay, queen takes c3. Once we take the pawn, we're up a pawn, but then we lose the pawn right back. And yeah, I mean, I still think after queen e4, I'd much rather have black in this position, but it's not as good as if here you play a move like queen g5, right? Play queen g5. Notice the pressure that we're still putting on pawns and on the opponent's pieces and structure. And if you take the queen, we'll take right back. Right, knight f3. In this case, we can capture off a knight, take the pawn. We're at even material, but then we play bishop c6. This pawn's simply going to fall, and this one's going to have a hard time hanging on as well. In fact, I don't see how you save it, you know, without really messing your position up. So, yeah, I mean, we're about to be up a pawn. This pawn here is going to be rock solid going down the board. Black here with a 1 endgame. We go back to castling kingside. That's if white plays d5. Just keep that in mind. If your opponent attacks your knights and they take your knights off the board in the hippo, okay, I mean, we got two bishops against two knights. Let's try to break the game open. White kind of made it easy for us there by playing d5. Let's say they don't make it easy and they play a move like queen d3. We have a lot of different options here. One of them is f5. I'm a fan of that move. Okay, f5, striking in the center, right? Notice, no matter which pawn you push, one of the bishops is going to become active, right? And if you take the pawn here, we can take back with the g pawn and really start to prep this e5 move, okay? Here we can play a move like queen f7. The reason we do that is so that when we do play e5, our queen is off of this file. For example, let's say, you know, white makes a move, we bring our rook over, now we play e5. If white decides to take this guy, we can take back our queen's on f7 now. And it's also kind of protecting us from this diagonal. And guys, we don't have to be worried about a bishop coming there because white doesn't have any, right? I mean, all of a sudden, you know, this bishop's very active. The second this one pushes, which by the way is threatening to fork the queen and the knight, this bishop as well is going to become a monster. We're just going to start attacking here like crazy. I could see something in, you know, I could see moves like f4 or e4 in the future. These bishops coming alive. You know, we got three major pieces here barreling down on these files, and it's not like white can just go, okay, hey, you can't push your pawns. There's really nothing white can do to stop these pawns from pushing. at some point, right? I mean, there's nothing in their way. White has no leverage here in terms of their pawn structure. You know, if you try to play active against us, we just take and we're ready to roll. So all I have to say, right? If you're developing naturally, right? And you do see the opponent attack your queen like so, no reason to freak out, right? You're going to be fine. Okay. It's all good. All you got to do, just keep doing what you're doing. Now, I'm a big fan of 1, 2, 3, 4, as you know, and oftentimes 5 before I play b6. I want to mention this because let's say white, you know, plays bishop e3 or something, and we play b6. The reason, or part of the reason that oftentimes knight e7 is so important is because if we don't play knight e7 before b6, now the bishop attacks us. We've kind of pushed too many pawns without enough support, right? If we play a move like knight d7, you know, white here can play bishop c6 now. They could push with d5 and, you know, h4 and go crazy. But at the end of the day, because our knight is not on e7 yet, white plays bishop c6, right? And for a lot of players, this isn't fun, right? This isn't fun to have this bishop in here and, you know, driving you crazy. If you play bishop b7 and they take, you're going to have a fianchettoed rook, which we don't really want a fianchettoed rook because it doesn't move diagonal. And, you know, we can play knight e7 to kick the bishop out, but it's you know, it's a pain to deal with that bishop. So I did want to mention that, okay? You know, e6, if white plays something like bishop e3, play knight e7, then b6, so that when that bishop comes into check, the bishop can't come in because the knight covers. Okay, and some of you might be wondering, okay, bishop g5, knight e7, what happens if the bishop checks now? The other bishop? We could just block. We haven't played b6 yet. We haven't committed to it, right? Let's say white plays h3 or something. Do we play b6 now? No, because this knight is pinned, right? And this bishop can start to mess with us. So what do we do in a situation like that? Going a few moves back, we don't play b6 yet, okay? We can play a move like h6, see what white's going to do, see if they're going to drop back, see if they're going to take our knight. We could play a move like knight d7. We could play a move like knight d7 and then b6. That's totally fine. And if the bishop comes here first, anticipating that we're going to play b6, get out of here. We're going to play a6. The bishop has to move. So, you know, there are some subtleties that you have to worry about with the bishops or think about at least. But once you get in the flow of it, it's really hard for white to really make any progress in that kind of way, if not impossible, really, if you play it the right way, right? Again, sure, in this kind of position, when the knight's pinned, we don't want to play b6 because the other bishop will come in. That's fine. Just tuck the knight, tuck the other knight, right? Now we have b6. If you play this afterwards, okay, we fianchetto. And yeah, again, if you come here before, we get tempo. If you come here, all right, let's get tempo. All right, let's get tempo. Right? All right. You know, we can play a move like c5. We can play a move like bishop b7. Oftentimes, white throwing their bishops in just gives us a whole bunch of time, a whole bunch of tempo, a bunch of moves that we were going to play anyways for free. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I wanted to give a big shout out to my Patreon supporters for the month of February in 2024. You guys have been amazing. I'm extremely blessed to have you guys as part of the Patreon family. There's exclusive benefits that you gain by becoming a member. So, you know, I highly recommend that you check it out and consider it. It's been great to, you know, hang out and get to know the patrons that have joined thus far. And I hope to see you there soon. Have a good day.